The old nose likes to run right now when it's cold. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dan's Veggie Patch. This time around I've got paths, pricking, and planting. Maybe not in that order, we'll see. Plus I got a special guest today, so hang around. Dang, that sun is bright. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Getting to this point has been a whole lot of work. First we got all the cardboard to put out. I had to find all the cardboard to put down into the garden spot. Fortunately, I know a guy. And then I had to bring in a whole big dump truck load worth of compost. And that was a nice, at least good 4-foot high steaming pile that I had to spread out into nice rows, which was a whole lot of fun. And then in order to take care of the deer and such, you know, I've got the fencing going up, which is something Charles, I guess, doesn't have to worry about, but it's an extra layer of protection that I'm going to put up. And so we had, no, not we, I dug 23 post holes for the garden and another 16 post holes for the compost station last fall in the heat, in the clay. That was fun too. Before I started my planting, I ran out to my local landscape supply for a couple of pickup loads of compost. I had another use for most of it, but I first wanted to top off the garden rows. That got me closer to a solid 6 inches in each row, plus it looks nicer. By the way, I wonder whether the Brits enjoy us Americans saying compost as much as I enjoy Charles and the other Brits say compost. Alright, I'm going to put in the radishes, and I'm also going to put in carrots. I'm just going to use the radishes to mark the carrots. Let me put a line down the center. And I'll do one over here. And one down the far side. This is where the radishes are going to go. And then in between is where I'll sow the carrots. So, let's try the radishes about here. Nice roots on them already, so they're ready to go in for sure. Okay, this says plant them a 1/4 inch deep and rows 12 inches apart. So I'm going to make my little mini trench, probably with my finger, and kind of drop the seeds halfway carefully as I go. I'll have 2 rows back as far as the radishes go. I can't do this right-handed, gotta be left. Alright, let's see how we do. Okay, this row I'm planting on the backhand side. Wind's coming up, better watch it.
bit of cover. Okay, carrots. I can water right-handed.
Well, I guess I'm at the point now where it stopped being a theoretical thing, like, oh, I could do this, this is easy, and it starts becoming reality. You know, I've got crops to take care of now and manage and all that kind of stuff. So this is where the rubber hits the road. I decided to go get a load of wood chips for the garden paths, and I put that out too the other day. Let's take a look. Some of the cardboard underneath the paths is already decomposed, so I gotta get more. Fortunately, I know a guy. Pizza box. Putting down the paths in the not hard work but takes a lot of time category. Well, I got some of these new paths done. When you're walking on it, it sounds like you're walking on a foot of leaves in the fall. And when you hit where there's fresh cardboard, it feels like you're walking on last year's crumpled up Christmas paper as well. But some rain and weather and stuff will settle all this down. Okay, we're here a week after I planted or sowed the lettuce, and in general, they're all doing pretty well. And so it's time to start pricking them out, and I'm going to put one of these little plants in each one of these individual cells and let them continue to grow until they're big enough to plant directly into the garden. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. And to do that, I use a really specialized tool. I don't think I had to order it online if I recall, but they call it the Lettuce Pricker 2000. And so let's get started. And what you want to do, let's make a hole first off. And just get in here and ease out an individual plant that looks good. And I don't know if you can see that, but that's got roots that are a couple inches long already, or at least 1.5 inches. So that one's looking pretty good. And I'll make a hole and stick her in there. And I want to bury it fairly deep. Just trying to get up to those squash. You know, that initial sets of cotyledons. I think I remembered something from high school there. Ooh, that was scary. So that's in. I'm going to go through and put 23 more in of each variety, or this variety, and then 24 of each of the others. and then I'll have what I want to plant in the garden ready to go. Now the Paris Cost um, doesn't look all that good. I didn't get real great germination, so I'm wondering if this got a bit dry. It may have been, it felt a little dry. So I went ahead and watered it. Maybe I can get a little bit more germination. Same thing with the spinach. The spinach was even worse. There's only a few plants that have popped up there. So I've watered this, and I think I'll probably end up trying to sow a little bit more just to get them caught up and going as well. Now this is the kind of work that my wife would just eat up. She would love this little individual kind of thing. Me, not so much, but I'm gonna take care of it, and I'll get through it. All right, here's how those trays came out. I don't have the Paris Cost in yet. I'm gonna regrow some of that, and I'll do the spinach a little bit later too. But you can see I got one plant in each one of those cells now, and they're gonna grow up from there. Um, I did notice that the one little lettuce plant that I pulled out had a plant or roots about 1.5 inches long. Really, the majority of them had roots that were even longer than that, 2 to even a couple that maybe even 3 inches. So they were really growing pretty well. I did find out that this works a whole lot better if you wet the compost thoroughly first and then make the hole. Then it's a whole lot easier to work with that way. And I did also plant some extras elsewhere, so in case I have a major catastrophe, I'm halfway covered. Well, now that I got the lettuces done and pricked out and separated, I think I'm going to put them in the cold frame I built the other day. Trouble is, I don't have a table to put the cold frame on out here. I need it facing south, and I'd like to have it on a table perhaps, but for now, I guess I can just scrounge some brick or something and make a base and then put the cold frame on that. The trouble is, brick's hard to come by. I'm not really sure where to get any. And so I don't know if I'm going to go to Craigslist or whatever, but I'll end up figuring out where to get some brick from someplace, I suppose. And so you can see I brought the lettuces, and I got the peas and the onions and the leeks out here in the cold frame that I built the other day. May end up building another one. We'll see what happens. That's got room for 5 trays in it. We'll see if that's enough. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for Dan's Veggie Patch for this time. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. This is our local rent-a-dog. She belongs to a neighbor down the road. She makes her rounds around the area, so I see her every couple of days. And it's nice. You know, for that half a day or whatever, I have a dog. I throw the ball, she brings it back. I throw the ball, she brings it back. Sometimes I get her water or snacks or food. But then she goes away for a few days, and I don't have a dog anymore. Very convenient.